Hello, everybody. Welcome to Inside the Kennel podcast. I haven't done this for a while. Geez, I miss this introduction, so I'm going to go with this. The greatest ever Bulldog player, the unofficial mayor of Footscray. More powerful than lightning. He's named a wing after him at the Great Oval. It's the great man himself, Douglas Hawkins. Dougie, how you going, mate?
Well, that is absolutely special. Fantastic, mate. Good on you, Matty.
Dougie, how's work, mate? First thing, I just want to check in on you. How's life?
Paul, very quickly, Matty. I've been, I do my road traffic control. I've got been in the sun. I've been in the Western Treatment Plant, which is called the Werribee Manure Farm in Werribee. Now, Matty and Paul, you're going to love this. 2 days ago, I was standing in the sun at about 2:30 in the afternoon, and my mind was just spinning around, and I saw a sign that said Little River, 10 k's away. So the first thing I thought of was, remember Glenn Sherrick, the lead singer of the Little River Band?
Yep.
Now, I'm led to believe that they were in their bus going to a gig in Geelong and didn't have a name, and their bus broke down at Little River.
True.
So they called themselves the Little River Band. And then my mind flashed back to, if they'd broken down 10 k's earlier, they could be the Werribee Shit Farm.
I hope you avoided the old Werribee polywaffle, Dougie.
That's got a nice ring to it, Dougie.
Now, Paul, Matty, you might see this gap. It'll have...
what have you done?
My tooth popped out. Yeah, see that?
What have you done?
Gap in it.
Yeah.
So, mate, I'm in the horrors, Paul. Matty, I'm in the horrors.
What have you been like hanging out with Dipper? Did he get you back after all those years?
No, I was down at the shit farm there, and a cow kicked me in the mouth. Paul.
Nah, we're not buying that story at all, Dougie, and I reckon there's a left hook from Robert Di Domenico in there somewhere. Back in the 80s, you had some unbelievable tussles. I know that of you. Have a look what popped up on my screen.
Dougie and Dipper, have a look at that.
Is that a beer? Is that a beer?
It's a beer. It's a pint of beer.
Hey, Dougie, look at the thighs on you, mate. I'd be proud of those. Look at those magnificent thighs.
Look at the guns on the arms too, Paul. How's the guns? Matty, they are magnificent. And you're right, Matty. We had some great, one-on-one duels back in that mid-'80s, and me and Dipper, had some great contests. And as there was many great wingmen, Matty and Paul, over that period, one-on-one stuff was just fantastic footy.
Okay, let's talk 2025 now, boys. And the hot topic on everybody's lips is Jamarra Ulehagen. Let's talk about him from the top. Dougie, I've got a feeling you've got a bit of a strong opinion on this.
Well, Matty and Paul, at the start of the year, I requested the fact that we were going to trade. I wanted to trade Jamarra purely on football ability. We needed to open our forward lineup. Sam Darcy's going to be twice the player, I think, of young Jamarra, and Norton, whack him in as well. And I thought someone had to go. And I thought it would have been the young kid because he had a lot of currency, 22 years of age. Matty, Paul, this is going to hurt me to say this. This is going to hurt me to say this, and to our supporters and our members of the Footscray Western Bulldogs, this young boy Jamarra will not wear a Footscray Western Bulldogs jumper again.
Ooh, that does hurt.
He will not play, Paul. He will not play, Matty. He will not play this year. I believe that his time at the kennel is done.
Is this one of the what you've heard, or is just a theory, or what you're feeling skeptical about the whole situation?
Paul, I just had this gut feeling about it, Paul, Matty, just the way it's unfolded and the way it's, the boy comes and trains. He's gone for a week. He comes and trains. I've been a player. I've been a captain of the Footscray Football Club. What you create by doing that sort of stuff, you lose your trust with your teammates. And, the Bont's been a fantastic leader with him being out. Libba's been terrific. Thomas Liberatore. Mate, Paul, Matty, you lose faith and you lose trust in a person. And I reckon this young boy, Jamarra, is done at the Dogs. I don't know how the Dogs handle it from here on in. Does the AFL get involved and do something to support and help the Western Bulldogs. Maybe the AFL need to get involved, Matty, Paul, because this is becoming a real nightmare for the club and for this young fella. You know, remember I requested about Mickey McLean?
You did, yes.
Yeah, you know, and you know, is it past that, Matty? Is it past that, Paul? Is this young boy's career and his mental health and well-being? Is it past that? Is it past the Michael McLean coming in and spending 5 or 6 weeks? I know there was Buddy Franklin said a few words about the young kid. Mate, I'm just concerned first of all for the kid. Forget about the footy. That'll come at some stage, hopefully. I'm concerned about this kid's well-being, his mental health and his well-being. That's my priority. I don't care about footy. I couldn't give a shit about the footy. I care about Jamarra, the kid himself, and what's ahead of him and where this can take him. Because, you know, boys, we've seen some good players come. We've seen some good players go. This could be 22 and then be 24. And guess what? This kid's career is all over. He's finished. He's come and gone. And we don't want that to happen to the boy. And I would hope and wish he gets himself back on track and has a good career. And here I go again. It'll be somewhere else. It won't be at the Bulldogs.
What can the AFL do? How can they be a supportive body?
Geez, Matty, it's a very good point, you know, and Paul, I'm not sure, can they come over and overrule what's going on at the Bulldogs? Can they just take control of this situation where the Dogs have just come to a stage where I reckon they've hit the brick wall? Like, they've been knocking on it, and I reckon the club in general with this young boy has hit a complete brick wall. And I'd love to see the kid play footy in 2026. He won't be playing at the Bulldogs this year. He won't be playing anywhere, I don't think. And we'll be able to have Sack Butters, and he can go to Port Adelaide, young Jamarra. But, you know, on a serious note, I'll say it again, Paul, Matty, I'm concerned about the kid's well-being, his mental health, and where he's going to could end up, or where he could end up being. And I'll say it again, this is a broken record. He will not be at the Bulldogs. He won't be playing for Western Bulldogs this year.
Hey, listen, guys, let's move on to some more positive information here. Let's talk about the last 5 weeks. Dougie, how have you assessed the last 5 weeks, and what are your feelings about moving forward before we start talking about the next 5 games?
Oh, mate, I think the boys have been fantastic. I think they've been outstanding, and I touched on it a bit earlier. Without the great Bont, great leadership out of the side, and we're not surprised by Thomas Liberatore, the way he steps up. Mate, he plays like that anyway. That's him.
Yeah.
That's him, like his old man, like Tony, the great Tony Liberatore, superstar. You know, they're the blokes you want to be in the trenches with. You know, him and the old man and the young fella. They've just been absolutely sensational. And as we all know, there's a kid that's going to be an absolute. The boy Darcy.
Oh, how good has he been?
Matty, seriously, Paul, we did give him a rap at the start of the season with these 5 games, and mate, he has become he's frightening. And of course, he takes the best defender every time. Mate, he's got tricks. He kicks the ball both feet he's 6'10". How big is he? Kicks the ball both feet like a winger.
I love his lining up for goal too, Doug. He's like a rugby player, isn't he? He's sort of got the ball and he's sort of, I just love that he's been taught so well with his kicking. He's got his head way over the ball. He's got a perfect kicking technique.
Yeah, no, mate.
Really misses.
Boys, he's been terrific. Richards has been pretty good. You know, we've got to get Treloar back in that side as well. The boy Waitman, I'm a bit worried about his knee. I'm getting some reports, Matty and Paul, that his knee's not real good. A little bit of mail coming out of the kennel that his knee's not real great. So let's hope we do see some of him, and we just hope the kid comes back, because you know what, Waitman can play.
Oh.
He's an absolute gun.
Dougie, I've been super proud, as Matty and I have been talking the last, super proud of the growth, and I sort of make it a bit similar to pruning back a lemon tree, Dougie. where you pruned out the lemon tree and about 3 months later you're popping out with huge lemons because you pruned it back and you've got new growth. And I think there's been some really great growth. Fraser, Riley Sanders has really been developing. Even your Westie, Riley West on the weekend against the Lions had 20 touches. Even a young bloke like McNeil has been doing really well. He had 18 touches on the weekend as well. I just think there's been some beautiful growth. Here's some questions I want to ask you though, Dougie. Talk to me about English, okay? I've been a little critical of his lack of intensity and his lack of markings. On the weekend against the Lions, he had 6 marks, and I think he was a lot more physical. What are your feelings been about
Who was that, Paul?
English? Yeah.
He frustrates me, Paul, Matty. He frustrates me a bit, Paul. I think if you want to look over the 5-week period, take away the weekend game against Brisbane, he frustrates me, Paul. I just think that sometimes I think he's got not much in between. And when I say in between, Matty and Paul, he's either good or he's terrible. I don't see a lot of really in between. You don't walk away and go, you know what, English wasn't too bad today. He was okay. But I walk away and sometimes I go, mate, he was terrible. He was terrible or he was real good. You know what I mean? Mate, is that a fair assessment? Am I being a bit tough on him?
No, Paul and I pretty much, speak regularly about this, and we feel that exact same emotion of frustration just because he can rip a game apart. He's got all the tools, and he shows it regularly. And then we have the opposite of that, as you've just described. So yeah, we hear you.
I think when he wants to, Dougie, when he really wants to dig in like he did against Brisbane, I thought he was really, really good.
Yeah.
But he's got to do that more. He's got to come into every game. He can't be playing, getting 1 or 2 marks and 1 or 2 tackles, and then getting heaped with criticism and then saying, I'm going to come out and have a crack this week. I think he's just got to get that into his armour and like a Maxi Gorn and come out and be forcible. I think a lot of the time he's going up in the ruck in boundary throws, and I find he's more mindful of the opposing ruckman. He's always looking at them rather than just I'm going to spread the shoulders and go in but we want to see him stepping up, I think, in that regards of taking more marks, being more physical around the ground, getting back to that 2022, all Australian form.
What is it, Dougie, around that? Is it an attitude thing, or is it? Do we need to sort of get a coach down there that can just instill that sort of that aggressive side? Like, how do we rectify something like this?
Yeah, Matty, Paul, it's a tricky one and it's a funny one. Sometimes in players, and I'm not saying this is young English's situation, sometimes it's hard to put that real competitive spirit into a player, not just English, and it could be a winger, it could be anything. It's very hard sometimes if you haven't totally got that, it's hard to put that competitive and be hard and tough into it. So, Matty and Paul, I just find you can't, do you go out and do you go and explore and try and get a Scotty Wine to be available to come in and show how to compete? And, Scotty played about 5 years bone on bone with his knee. He was just sensational. A bloke like him, or do you go and turn the page back and you grab a bloke like Gary Dempsey, who's now probably, his legs and that, I think, would be just about, he's been in more battles than John Wayne, Gary Dempsey. So he probably is not the answer for that situation, but verbally, we all know he's got a craggy voice, but verbally he'd be pretty good for English. But someone like, I reckon still Scotty Wine could step out there and show how to lose your body and all that sort of stuff. And that makes you be competitive. You know how to use your body and all that. I reckon young English sometimes doesn't look like he's confident and comfortable in his approach into the ruck, into the footy, because he seems to be open and wide where Dempsey gets side on or move. I'm trying to lead to, Matty, Paul?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm thinking as well. Yeah, I know, back in your day, they brought in Demps, to help out in the ruck and, to get that craft. And I feel really strongly that that's what we need. We need somebody just to guide him and mentor him, and just so we can get that consistency.
Yeah, Paul, Matty, I missed the game on the weekend. I haven't had a chance to view it. Right. Paul, a question to you, Paul, Matty. The boy Norton, he's been ordinary. How was he? I saw he kicked a couple of goals. What was your assessment of him, Paul and Matty, of Norton?
he got back to that Nordo confidence. You know, that
He's
Nordo.
been ordinary, Paul, and he's been ordinary.
He has, but he showed a bit of a Nordo form, and so I think that's great, and it's a really good opportunity on Sunday night against St Kilda for him to continue with that form, and also I think get a little bit of confidence in the players who are. I've seen him throw his head up in the air a little bit, hands up in the air a little bit by not having it delivered to him. I don't know whether that's fair assessment, but it's good to see him back in form. We need him, and like you said, without Ulehagen in that forward line, you got Darcy and he running around, which is enough, I think, and probably getting Waitman back. But yeah, it's good to see him. I thought he was okay, and certainly, like you said, Matty, a lot of room for improvement there.
Yeah.
Hey, Matty, Dougie, what about Matt Kennedy? Matt Kennedy, Davidson,
right.
and Fraser. What are you? I mean, there's been those young blokes coming into the team. I mean, I think Matt Kennedy was incredible last week.
Yeah, Kennedy's been pretty good, Paul. Matty, again, as I said, I hadn't seen this game, but he came in and done what we club wanted him to do. He's been competitive, hard at the footy. He's led the side as well. He's helping Libba. He's been really good. And the boy number 27, Fraser, I reckon, he's a boy from Horsham. I thought his year last year just grew. I just reckon his last 6 or 8 games, it went like this. It got better and better each week, and he grew with confidence. And then all of a sudden you saw this kid who was standing there holding on to his half forward flanker, where towards the end of the year, those last 5 or 6 games, he was taken off. He was running off the half. He was letting them worry about him. He just grew with this confidence, the boy from Horsham Saints, I reckon it was. And you're right, Paul. I think he has a terrific future. And again, Kennedy, when they first got Kennedy, I just wasn't quite sure. Yeah, and of course, because we've lost the boy Jackson McRae to St Kilda, Caleb Daniel Moore of half back to the Kangaroos, I thought that the replacement of Kennedy was okay to replace the boy McRae, who's been a fantastic player for the Bulldogs. And again, on top on that, we see Bailey Smith going to bloody... But we knew that, Matty. Paul, you knew that. All of our listeners and Bulldog supporters, we knew the kid could play.
Yeah.
Like his 21 season and that finals campaign was outstanding. Then had a crook knee and then played off half forward. Probably didn't play him where we probably should have played him. He wanted to play on ball. I was going to say little prick. Little prick's been terrific for Geelong.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because Geelong and even the experts tried to sort of say, he's a bit of a risk, Bailey, and it ended up resulting in us getting like pick 22 or 23 for him, which is highway robbery.
100%, Matty and Paul. I saw you, Pat. Paul sitting there going, "Yep, Hawk, you Matty, you're right." I'm sorry to bring that one up, but I think we had to. But anyway, the kid didn't want to stay, or whatever reasons there were regarding him and the club. But we all knew, that's all of our supporters, and that we knew the kid could play footy. Simple as that.
Yeah, well, I cannot wait for the Dogs versus Geelong game because we're coming.
Give it to him. Let's boo him and give it to him.
I tell you what, Dougie, Matty, I live in Geelong, as you know, so I'll be getting this thing out, and I know where Bailey Smith drinks coffee, and I'll be walking in and out of that joint all morning, waiting until I see him, and just giving him a wave.
And when you do that, Paul, you say that's from Matty and the Hawk as well, from the kennel. Cop that.
No, we wish him all the best. And look, talking about Bailey Smith, a very young, talented player. What about Davidson, the young bloke on the wing? Matty and I have been singing his praises. Matty's been singing his praises all summer, actually. Matty saw this happening, saw it coming. And young Davidson, we call him the surgeon. He's a young doctor, training to be a doctor. But he's been tremendous, hasn't he? Hasn't he, Dougie?
A little bit of Hawk about him, Matty. A little bit of bit of young Dougie about him. Got a little bit of movement and not being boastful or big-headed, but he's got that little bit of swagger, a little bit of movement, hasn't he, the kid? And got good balance, kicks both feet, puts his head over the footy. No, I like the boy. Where did he come from, Paul, Matty? Where did that kid come from, Davison?
Came from the Richmond Reserves team, the VFL team from last year. So. Yeah, he did, but he was a journeyman before that. So he spent a lot of time in different country towns, playing a year here and there. The Doggies picked him up. The Tigers missed out on a massive opportunity there. So he's been huge for us. I agree.
Yeah. What's his age, Paul? Paul, what's his age, you reckon?
I think he's mature age. So he's 23, I think, Matty, isn't he? Around
23, is he?
Yeah.
23. And he's been around a little bit, Paul, as you're saying. And no, but he shows really maturity. And again, I say he had terrific balance and good decision making, and happy to put his head over the footy. Terrific.
He's good. And look, I think other than yourself, Dougie, of course, he plays similar to you, but he also has got a bit of David Rees-Jones about him. He's just got this ability to find the ball without looking like he's overexerting himself. He's just got this languid approach. The footy just seems to come to him, but he's got a bit of David Rees-Jones on the nice side of David Rees-Jones. We know what David was like.
I do know what he was like.
I think you played against him?
David, I got him when he was at Sydney, when he wore number 30. Then I got him at Carlton, where he wore I reckon he wore 26, did he, at Carlton?
Yep.
If I can remember now. I got him at Carlton when he'd matured a little bit and slowed down and just got a little bit quieter. But at Sydney, he was very, you're right, mate. The elbows used to come up a little bit high. Now, it would be very unfair if I don't mention this bloke, Paul, Matty. If number 7, what hairdo will we have? If he puts the lobster on his head, he had the woof woof. Now he's doing something for the Good Friday appeal coming up. He's been, I think, real good, and the opposition is starting to sort of put a bloke to him. You're not allowing him to run around on his own and be that loose player who reads the play. And the move by Bevo has been an absolute beauty, hasn't it?
Well, this time last year, the supporters and even the media were saying trade him in for a dim sim, and now he's possibly in All-Australian contention at centre-half back. He's impassable, and as you say, ball in hand, he's also an offensive danger as well, because his aerobic capacity, his athleticism, and he's just long penetrating kick. He can get 65-metre kicks. He's a bit of a Bernie Quinlan type. He just bombs it.
He was that close, Paul, when he going to his 4th club, wasn't he, Paul?
Geez, we had, some of our previous episodes, Matty, you're right. We were talking about what to do with him and his confidence. And about a year ago, Dougie, you were talking about the big 4, the 4-headed or 3-headed monster, which he was part of. And now he's this incredibly important back for us. It's, again, given us so much more confidence and foundation in that back line where we had a few issues. And like you said, Matty, it's just incredible. And the whole thing with the hair is something that's just he's comfortable with. And I think Bevo's really handled that situation really well. I don't know if other coaches would have.
Just one more player I want to mention, and he's back. The captain is back in business. We've been waiting for him, and finally, we're 2 wins, 3 losses. If ever you want your Ferrari to come out of the garage, it's now, Dougie.
Yeah, Matty, no doubt about that, Paul. You're right, and I saw Paul's delight, and I think you got a lot of supporters, Paul, doing the same thing. Really delighted to see the Bont back, and it won't change the acting captain, which was Libba. So Matty, with the Bont, mate, you got your, as you called him, Matty, the Rolls Royce, mate, he's back, and we're waiting for him. The supporters are waiting for him, mate. He's arguably the modern-day Ted Whitten, in my opinion. I can't compare him because it's different eras. But if I say that, I think I'm pretty close to the mark. He's a modern-day Ted Whitten, and Teddy Whitten was the best player that ever played in our footy club.
We'd love to hear your tips, Dougie. You got 4 out of 5 correct for the first 5 rounds, and if not for that sneaky game against Fremantle where we thought we were going to get across the line, you would add 5 from 5, Nostra Douglas. So we're throwing back to you, and we're going to start with this week's game. It's the Mighty Saints at Marvel Stadium against the Doggies. How are we going to go?
Huge game, Matty. Paul, isn't it? Big one, Marvel, Sunday night. The boy McRae playing against his mates and his old team, and he's been pretty good. No, this is a game that's really critical for the boys now, and I think St Kilda are a better team they were last year. I think they've improved a bit. If we play at our best and bring our best, we get the job done. And I just reckon with the Bunt back in, the hype behind him leading the boys out. As a player, I know what it is like when your captain, a Jimmy Edmond or a Rick Kennedy would lead you out. Guess what? You're going to war. You're going to war with them, and this is what will happen on Sunday night when the Bunt leads the boys out with Libba behind him. I think we'll be just a bit too good for them. Again, they have improved, But the Dogs for me by 3 or 4 goals. I think we'll get them.
Beautiful, Dougie. Well, one thing to say though, Doug, I'm a bit worried about St Kilda because they're fast starters, and I read a statistic today that since 2022, if they've been 4 goals up or more, they haven't lost a game from that position. They're 100%. They're batting at 100 once they get 4 goals up. Now, that worries me.
So, row you, Paul?
Well, you can't argue with stats, Dougie. Yeah. But listen, I also heard, Matty, that their game is very suited to Marvel, and they had that extraordinary win against, was it Geelong at Marvel? Is that right? In recent weeks, Matty?
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
But their form, and they're very confident on that oval, and obviously McRae in particular is going to be very at home there. But I think you're right, Matty. It's a big game that we it's a must win for us. Absolutely.
Must win.
Must start well, Matty. Must start well, Paul. Go on what Matty just said then, and it's a huge stat, Paul. You're right, Paul. Matty, you're spot on about that stat. We need to get out of the blocks, and I don't think that we'll be sitting back with the captain coming back into going to wait to get going. I don't think he'll be waiting to get going. He'll be ready to go. So I think the Dogs in about 3 or 4 goals. It'll be a tight contest, and we'll get the job done.
We'll take it. There's one on the board. Love it. Who we got next, Paul?
We make our way down to Canberra, and we play GWS, Dougie. On what's it called, Monaco? Is that right?
Yeah, I played there, Paul, Matty, once. I played there once in '95 against West Coast Eagles. Oh. When I had that brilliant year at Fitzroy. It's in '95. It was a crap ground.
Was it snowing?
It was a crap ground, Paul. It was ordinary track, that. The one at Canberra. But anyway, GWS.
Now we come up against Stringer, of course, our old friend.
Gee, their forward line, Stringer, Hogan.
Toby Green.
Mate, Toby Green. Toby Green's a superstar. Matty.
Hate him.
Paul, you know what? I love Libba, the old man, and I love this bloke. A lot of people hate this bloke, Green. Mate, they love to play in the same jumper as him. I'd love to see him in a red, white and blue jumper. People, all of our Bulldogs supporters would be going, oh, bullshit, Dougie. Yeah, you would. You would. He's a gun. He is a gun, Toby Green. And their forward line structure is really dangerous, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and they get on the midfield and get themselves going. I think they're the real deal, this mob. Up forward. Again, the other boy from Darley, he looks like he's developed the boy Aaron Cadman, wearing number 5, left footer. He come from Darley. He looks like his body has developed and got stronger. And you got him, and you got Hogan, you got, as you said, Stringer. Gee whiz, if their midfield gets going with Kelly and the other bloke Green and Whitfield comes off half back, and gee, they're a pretty good side, mate. Where's it at? Canberra? Yeah, that chucks it up in the air a little bit. I think we're right in the mix, boys. We need to be again. Like we always have to be, but we need to be right out of the top of our tree, right at our best. And this is a very dangerous game, Matty, Paul, for us, GWS there. I'm not overconfident, but if we win, it wouldn't surprise me.
What are you going for? You giving it to us?
Well, I'm gonna go for them just.
Ouch.
Okay.
Paul, Matty, I'll say it again. I think this mob's a real deal. GWS. I think they're a real good side, and we're right in that mix.
Yeah.
But I think they're just at the moment. I rate them very highly. GWS.
Dougie, the next week we follow, Matty. We got Port at Ballarat, Mars Stadium.
Geez, I like that. I think our footy there at Ballarat's been pretty consistent and pretty good. I like to see the strike rate of our appearances there over the last 3 or 4 years. It'll be more wins than losses, and I think we'll get the job done. We'll beat Port Adelaide over there at Ballarat.
And geez, Doug, isn't there a difference between the best and the worst of Port? You just don't know what they're going to throw at you.
Yeah, but you will beat Port. Port, I'm happy with that, Matty. I'm very happy with that at Ballarat. 100% happy.
All right, then we find our way to the Suns in Darwin.
We're going where, Paul?
Darwin.
Right, surely you're ringing off. You're reading the wrong thing, Paul. There, are you?
So we've been Adelaide, back home, Monaco, Mars,
Ballarat.
Stadium, Ballarat, Darwin, and then it's New Zealand the following week, Dougie. New Zealand.
They must have been on the drink, the AFL, when they did that draw. Were they? Must have been on the drink, Matty. Were they? Why are we going to Darwin? They're kidding, aren't they? Who we got up there? Who we got Paul up there?
We've got very humid weather. That's one thing we've got up there. We've got the Suns, which generally
Suns.
play up there. That's their sort of home game, Matty, isn't it? They play Geelong. Was it? They always seem to have a win. It's always very humid and it's always very difficult, Matty.
Yep.
Tricky game, Matty. Paul, real tricky game, mate. Gold Coast, yeah. I think they're not a bad side. I think when they're at their best, they're really dangerous. We need to shop early, the old Charlie Sutton stuff. Shop early, avoid the rush up there, and get them early. And if we don't, I'm not a real good feel in this game. I'm not a good feeling it going from there and where we've been, and then going up to Darwin.
Well, if I can make you feel a little bit better, we'll have Ad Trelaw back at that point, Dougie. We expect him back for either the Power or the Suns game, so maybe that helps us a little bit, lift your spirits.
Yeah, it does, Matty. It certainly does. There's no doubt about that. Paul and Matty, I think you guys are with me here a little bit. Mate, we can beat them. Mate, don't make no mistake, but Jesus, we need to be again. I keep continually saying this, and it need to be at our best, but this is a game where up there, they're a fast running side, Gold Coast. They've improved under Hardwick. They've got some very good talent through their whole list. You boys would agree with me. They've improved, haven't they?
Yeah, big time, big time. They look like a dangerous outfit. They've never made the finals in their history, the Suns. So they're hungry for it. But we need to put the brakes on them, Dougie. Surely.
Yeah, Matty, I'm going with Gold Coast.
Oh, Doug!
Crikey.
Mate,
who are you barracking for again? I'm not sure.
I'm a Bulldog, but it wouldn't shock me this mob grabbing hold of us. It wouldn't shock me.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you're right.
I hope I'm wrong again.
The Suns also their new recruits have done really with Rioli, and they're definitely winning away, and so now they become quite dangerous. And in the last game for us in our little preview here, Dougie, is Essendon, and we're playing them at Windy Hill.
If we're playing at Windy Hill, Paul, we'll get them. If
we're playing everywhere else, let's have a crack. Let's bring it back to the old school Windy Hill. No, we're playing at Marvel Stadium, Dougie. Come on. Can we finish with a positive here, please?
Paul, let me tell you what we are, mate. You know what we are against Essendon? We are, Paul, Matty, we are morals. Absolute morals. They could start an hour before us, they'd kick a point, no one's there to kick it back out. Mate, we'll get Essendon. We'll be ready to go. We'll come back from Darwin, tanned up, hopefully with a win against Gold Coast, and I tipped against us. We'll come back and be ready to rock and roll, and we will make Essendon look second rate. And there'll be no more joy than watch the Bombers get a real good touch-up. Dogs by 10 goals. I'm confident on that one, man. I'm being serious, even though it sounds like I'm joking. We'll give this mob a good touch-up, Essendon. You watch this.
I was looking at your face when you said that, and you seem to take a lot of joy out of seeing pain for Essendon. You did the same last year. What is your hatred for the Bombers? Is there something there?
We had some great battles in the 80s and a built-up rivalry over the years. Matty, Paul, I had a chance to go to Essendon when I was 22.
That's right.
Years of age, when we were at Footscray struggling. We weren't winning many games, and I was used to, coming from Braybrook, winning premierships and that sort of stuff. And I had an opportunity to go to the Bombers, which I knocked back because of loyalty, my love of Footscray, my love of my teammates, love of my jumper. And, the rest is history, Matty and Paul. I could have played in 5 grand finals and 3 premierships. But I stayed at Bulldogs. I love my club. I love my jumper. I love my brothers. And I love the supporters. It was simple as that. There's a word called loyalty, the boy from Braybrook. We have loyalty. So I hate him, Matty. I dislike him. Did I say hate, did I? It's a big word for me.
Strong word, Dougie.
It is a big word for me, Paul, because I don't really hate many people, but I hate Essendon. I hate Melbourne. I hate Melbourne, Paul. Matty, I hate Melbourne. I hate Carlton. I hate Collingwood. You want me to keep going?
That's the old Lou Richards kiss of death there, Dougie, isn't it? Louis' kiss of death.
Yeah, it is, Paul. It is, mate. But no, you're right. You're right, Matty and Paul. That's it. This game, St Kilda over the line Sunday, and again, all games are winnable. Again, as just a couple of swung me, but 5-5, 6-4 be good, Matty. You're right.
All those people inside the Kennel podcast. What an evening. Dougie Hawkins, thank you very much. Matty, the hostess with the Moses, absolutely fantastic. Everyone have a good weekend. Get to the game on Sunday night. If you can't get there, turn the tallies on because the bots...
Well done, Paul. Well done, Matty.
Thanks, boys.
Red in my heart, white in my veins, blue in my eye, red, white, and blue in my brain.